Get ready, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for kickoffs and kick-ons.
Do you reckon someone stumbled across the fact that sour lollies are tasty, like by accident?
No, I think someone stumbled across the fact that sugar is a drug. They're like, let's just put sugar on everything.
It's a sour version.
Is it though? Is it just a shit
But
ton
even
of
Warheads.
sugar?
Did you like Warheads when you were
Oh, I
younger?
loved Warheads.
But you didn't enjoy Warheads.
No, I enjoyed
But
the
you
sour
liked,
one.
yeah, that's what I mean. But you didn't enjoy it, did you?
Yeah.
You enjoyed that weirdness?
Oh,
I did.
but once you got through that weirdness, then it was delicious.
Oh, watermelon.
Yeah, or apple. Now, I want to get an intro pretty quick here because there's something interesting in it. Hello and welcome to Kickoffs and Kick-Ons, the KOKO Show. We have returned from Hong Kong. We've reunited with our families and doubled our time with our therapists. In the show today, we have a brand new New Zealand correspondent. We didn't know we had one, but apparently Swoop is over there.
Does he need to turn his phone to the side or what?
Yeah, well, so yeah,
Here you go.
Swoop.
Kia ora, bros.
Yeah, kia ora.
On behalf of the team, Swoop, I'd like to thank you for giving us a lot of notice as to your trip to New Zealand. That was very good of you, mate.
Yeah, been a bit of a cloudy week, a bit on. How did you blokes go this week?
Yeah, it was pretty slow, bro. After Hong Kong, it was just getting back into the rhythm of things, but still managed to turn up to my
Slowing things down, Drew. I like it.
yeah, still managed to turn up to my duties though.
Good on you, mate. Proud of you. What do you guys need from me?
I just want to know weather. Like, I've never seen it sunny in New Zealand. How is
No,
that
I know, I
sun
can't- I don't
or
know
is
what-
that are you indoors? Where are you?
I'm actually outdoors, believe it or not,
Yeah.
and the sun's in my face. It's
Yeah.
very bright, actually. We're at 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah,
We've
wow.
we've had all seasons here. Rain just earlier, hence the slightly.
You look good though.
Thank you. And we're on what hole are we on? We're on 15.
Just give us a 4, would you?
Yeah, yell one out
Give us
for
a Figaro.
Hang on a second, ready? 4.
You are a golfer. I thought we'd cross to you for some. I've got here, we will be crossing to our New Zealand correspondent for all the latest news from a drunk ex-wallaby on a golf course. You got anything?
Well, I've just. What was that drive, Willie? Big Will's my caddy.
For those of you
Just getting the
listening,
measurement.
Swoop is now walking down the 15th
It's
fairway.
picturesque.
Right, so I'm going to take you through my second shot. What are we to the stick here, son? 290 drive, and that's not in yards.
You on the short stuff?
You got that 56 for me, Will?
Oh, look at
Oh, you just want
He's got a bloody caddy.
He does.
to.
I tell you, he doesn't have a crowd.
You play golf without a caddy?
You
Here we
wanker.
go. Here we go.
Oh, he's got the pins out as
He's
well.
about to have a shot here.
You're going to commentate for us here, Goy?
Well,
Oh,
these
please
old
duff
things.
it. Now he's doing a couple of calf raises. Not his routine. Here comes the
standing
practice.
over the
Ooh,
ball.
Practice swing. Drew, take over. You're good at this.
Yeah, he's got a hazard right in front of him. He's got a big bunker. Can't see the pin. Oh, he's duffed it.
Did that end up in the sand?
Yeah. Yuck. Lifted your head too
Oh,
soon,
it's Will's
son.
fault.
That's about 3 foot from the stick.
Oh, Swoop, what I'd
Um,
like, what's your one takeaway from the round of rugby over the weekend? Shut up, Will.
You're going to hit your bunker shot.
Hey?
Pass the phone.
Yeah, pass. Oh, hang on. No,
Oh, Will's
I've got to get
directing
back
now.
to the podcast.
Yeah.
Well, you get that.
There's a lot of
They
dead
want me to
time.
get out of this. They want me to get out of the sand.
One more.
There it is.
One more.
Hey, Will, what's your takeaways from the Super Rugby round? Will?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah, you're
You
Will.
watch any Super Rugby?
Over the weekend, I watched the drawer. Did the drawer
What'd
play?
you think of the drawer?
I don't mind the drawer. I don't mind the drawer.
What was your takeaway?
My takeaway is I didn't watch enough footy this weekend, but
He certainly didn't if he's talking about the draw because they got lapped by Crusaders.
I got to be honest though, Will is still giving us more than Swoop normally does.
Yeah, so takeaways over the weekend is I thought, the Australian teams played well. I actually tuned in I had to watch a lot of the repeats because it was a busy weekend, obviously. It actually wasn't. I didn't watch much rugby over the weekend. It was just,
Yeah, the line's open, Swoop, so jump on later if you'd like. Right, so the other thing going on today, we're not just crossing to our New Zealand correspondent, we're also going to be talking to one of the Brumbies' brightest stars, back rower Tom Hooper. He will teach us the art of the tough carry because Lord knows Swoop
I've
isn't
still got a
doing
par.
one this week.
You should have pumped.
You still there, Swoop?
Yeah, still there. I'll just mute it.
Okay, beauty. Finally, there will be plenty of ruck and maul to chat. We'll have a good look at the Superb Rugby, the Super W, Singapore Sevens European Champions Cup, the Major League Rugby Japan Top League, Super Rugby Americas, Clase out of the Netherlands, and of course, División de Honor from Spain. We are your one-stop shop for all stats.
I got all of them.
You are on fire today. Come to KOKO for all your analysis. Let me introduce the boys. We've already seen Swoop, Drew Mitchell, Matt Giddo.
And Prof.
Yeah, James.
How are you, boys? You good? Back from Hong Kong? Ready for this?
Yeah, we're back, and
Yeah.
Hong Kong was great, but I think it's also kicked us into a bit of a health kick. I'm on day one of an 8-week body transformation program.
Now, if you don't mind, you said that you wanted to do before shots. Perhaps we could do them live on the podcast. Could you just give us a bit of a... I mean, you can say no.
Yeah.
Go on, why don't you jump up? Just give us a bit where you're at. Tell us the kilos. Tell us your BMI.
This morning, I was at 94.4.
Okay.
Body
you
fat
going all the way?
percentage. Is that what it
You're
is?
taking your pants off first.
Yeah,
For those of you listening,
Yeah, but his quads.
Drew is currently taking his
Strides off.
pants
One
off.
second.
And here comes the money shot. Tell you what, it's not a bad shot side on too.
All right. I don't think...
What about this? Try to whip up the Rubik's Cube.
Oh,
For
no.
those of you listening, there is a gash on...
So this would be the front on shot.
Okay. Did you get that then, Bailey? Do you want it again? Yeah, you got it.
It's good.
And that's the
back.
side on.
He turns around. That back.
That's the back.
Snake eyes. Love them.
Yep. So that's what I've got to work with. 22% body fat. Not great, but good if you're doing a body transformation. You want a high number to start and then go down.
What do you reckon it was at, say, 2 months ago? So before you went on the 2 month, what did you stop? No alcohol for 2 months?
Yeah,
What do you reckon
I
you're
reckon it
at?
would have been up sort of probably around the 35, 40 mark.
Really, that much?
Oh,
I
probably.
think you look great, personally. But that's good. So you've got meals and everything too, don't you?
Yeah, so all my meals, so my gym there in the city locker room, they're going to be guiding me through it. Got all my meals. I got 21 meals dropped off yesterday. So nutrition, supplements, training, discipline, commitment, all of that. And then in 8 weeks, I'll do that again. I'll happily get my gear off.
Very good. Stay tuned. We might do even a halfway, the 4-week mark. Just check in.
Oh, it's going to be more shocking for the viewers.
wanna do
at the
8? Right on.
Not shocking as in a bad way, as in like, whoa.
Okay, very good. So that was your learning from Hong Kong. Get back on the health wagon.
Yep.
Have you got one, Goy? Did you learn something?
I learned lots of things. Lots of things. But I'm also on a month long, me and my wife, we've decided to just go off the drink for a month. Gee, that first weekend. So I'm now 8 days sober. And that first weekend's tough.
Yeah. I found that when I went off for 2 months.
Whew.
First weekend, maybe the second, but once you get over that, then you're just
You're home.
becomes the norm.
Yeah.
And then your interests change, don't they?
Yeah.
You find sober interests.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
strange one.
Yeah. We start communicating.
Yeah.
That was
you
the
learn
hardest
your kids'
part.
names.
Yeah. Yeah.
What are they? What are they?
What about you, Prof? You learn anything?
Swoop's trying to talk.
Oh, Swoop. Go, Swoop. What did you learn from Hong Kong? Quick.
Oh, no, I just wanted to know what those sober interests are of yours. What do they look like?
I haven't found them yet, Swoop. I'm not on a health kick.
Probably puppy training.
Oh, the puppy. Oh, God.
I called you the other day and it just would not stop yapping.
Oh, no, it's not going well. We've done 3 lots of puppy school, which isn't cheap. And then we've got like this patch of real grass on the balcony now. And I came out this morning and I was talking to Tom on the phone at the time. The dog's just fucking dug up the whole grass. That's not a sober interest, Swoop. Don't get a puppy.
No, I won't do that. Are they toilet trained?
When you get them, no. No, this thing it's going to the toilet
Did
everywhere.
he listen to any part of the first part? It's like he's just asked a question, then he'll start looking around.
You know how the puppy took a shit on. Can I just show you quickly?
Yeah.
The cushion was down like this, like that, and the puppy took a shit there. I have no idea how it did it.
Must have strong hind legs.
Yeah, I'd say so. All right, very good. Let's get into
Let's get into the pod.
Yeah.
we haven't started, have we? I do off the back of the Hong Kong thing. I do want to thank Hong Kong, Discover Hong Kong, which is the Hong Kong Tourism Board. They had us there. We had a wonderful time. Also, Cathay Pacific, we'll thank them again.
Oh,
Got us
yeah.
to turn left.
Oh, that
Absolutely.
flight home. Jeez, that was delightful.
Very, very
Well,
quick.
for 4 of us.
Yeah, poor Tommy and Bailey. They were a long way back. I haven't heard numbers that high in a plane. 179K. It was a long plane.
Yeah.
But we didn't
Wow.
care, really, did we? And finally, the Avolo Hotels. They had an event on for us. We had a
Yeah.
wonderful time.
Yeah. And to the people who've showed up to that event, thank you for coming.
Very, very good. Now, let's get
Ollie,
into...
even Ollie, the local,
Ollie and Lucy,
Yeah. Ollie turning up,
Ollie.
the Englishman.
Did I meet Ollie?
Yeah.
He's the one that dropped off the Maccas for Drew the year
Of
before.
course, a big shout out to Ollie.
Mm.
Wonderful to be back in Australia while he's up in Hong Kong. Distance makes the heart grow fonder, boys.
It
That's
does.
what they say.
Yeah, it's true.
Yep. Big distance. Okay. We are going to talk some superb rugby, some superb W. I want your hot takes, your talking points out of the weekend. I'm going to come to you first. Druza, what do you got for me?
I don't know if it's a hot take. I just think watching that Waratahs game, they looked really good in the first half. Went into the into half time, scoring a late try, 3 tries up. Like just second half, different team. Like it was disappointing. I mean, look, Moana Pacifica played really well in that second half. Like everything they were doing was sticking, and they were impressive. That must be said. But at the same time, like the drop off from the first half performance to the second from the Waratahs, probably a little bit worrying.
So Moana, they won 45-28, but they chased down a 21-7 deficit.
Mm.
Can I ask you guys, obviously those last 4 tries that were in the last 20 minutes all went down the same edge.
Same edge, yeah.
Basically through the same defender. Is that something the coach would have noticed at halftime and would have said, run at that edge?
Maybe they identified it.
Yeah.
Maybe even the players as well once they got in at half time. But at the same time, like you've got to problem solve on the run. You know, like after one try, okay, let's tighten this up, whatever the communication is. Because they just looked like they were acting individually rather than through like a system, because it was just opening up far too easily. And then after 2 tries, okay, let's address it. 3 tries, okay, guys, we've got to address it. You know, like
it's too late there though.
Yeah.
Like once you get to even Moana Pacifica or the Drua, once they get on a roll, it's incredibly hard to stop. Your game plan is basically to stop them getting that type of momentum, because they're beasts. Like they're naturally strong, gifted, talented athletes. You give them confidence or almost get the crowd in behind them, it's impossible to stop, and that's what we saw on the weekend.
See, I mean, whilst it looked like the edge defence was the one that was breaking down, it's got to be stopped at the source. Like they were getting far too quick ball.
Right.
You know, then all of a sudden they were on the front foot. The defensive line and the defensive structure wasn't able to kind of get in place. They weren't able to work as one. Then once it sort of starts getting fractured, that's the type of footy, the type of pictures that these teams really like, and they light up for it. And so whilst it sort of looked like, I mean, and don't get me wrong, that sort of edge defense wasn't up to scratch, but at the same time, it could be stopped by getting to it at the source.
I think
First and
Pellegrini's been a great inclusion.
Yeah, he's been really good.
He's plays with a
World
lot of
class.
confidence. He's quick. Even when they didn't have momentum and they were able to get that try, that little grubber through.
Yeah.
Showed a good turn of foot there.
Yeah, I mean, I've been in those positions, being out on a wing, like plenty of times where you just feel like it's all coming at you. You feel really isolated because you're not connected. Players aren't getting around the corner quick enough. Your spacing's not right. You've just got to make sure, like from your position, if you're feeling under stress, you've got to communicate it. You can't sit there and wait until after the fact when the damage is done and then blow up at them going, like you've got to sort of word them up the whole time, encourage them to come out. And if they're not coming to you, you've got to then maybe tighten up, and then all of a sudden rather than kind of out to in a defensive pattern, maybe you go in tighter and do that soft edge jockey or something. You know, like if your inside guys aren't listening to you, you've got to then make a decision and go, okay, I need to then be part of the solution, go in tighter, give them a softer edge, but that way you can kind of fan them out, and maybe by that time your cover defense can help. But it's just that problem solving on the run that needed to be better.
Now your mic cube's upside down. I can't take my eyes off it. Is
I
that-
was about to say it I was waiting for a break.
Yeah. Okay.
How's that?
Wonderful. Every cloud, silver lining. Let's do a silver lining playbook. Joseph Okuso Sua'ali'i at 15
Yep.
was dynamic, to say the least. Are we shifting from our belief he should be a 13?
I thought he was good in the first half.
Yep.
But I think as well, if you listen to the commentary, every time his name was mentioned, they also mentioned the fact that they knew he wasn't going to kick. Now, if you're playing against the British and Irish Lions team with a really astute kicking game, they'll be able to exploit that, knowing that Joseph won't kick, but then when he does, he's under pressure, he won't kick effectively. So whilst it looked good in the first half, not so much in the second,
Fellas,
but also I think with a game plan like the Lions will have, they'll be able to like target that so much more.
That's interesting. Yes, Swoop, have you got a putt here for something?
you want to watch me drain this?
Okay, quick.
Inside left.
Okay, here we go,
It
Swoop.
is a gorgeous course.
Oh, no, it's magic. Here we go, Swoop, over the putt.
I wouldn't have gone inside left.
Low grip.
Here we go. The ball has...
No.
he's slipped out.
Disappointment there, but he's still a happy man.
He's still happy somehow.
There you go. That's a tap in for Swoop. Swoop, thanks for joining us from the golf course.
Yep. See you, mate. More there.
You're one of the great podcast derailers going round, so thank you for that.
Mate. No stress for him.
All
He'll be
right.
blowing up a treat.
But what are your thoughts on Joseph
Yes.
Sua'ali'i at 50? Like,
Yeah, I mean, even
he did look really good.
He did look great, but even his, that line break try that he was able to make from the scrum, he was getting the ball first receiver. It wouldn't have mattered if he was 13 or 15 really there.
Yeah.
Like positionally, I just think he can have a greater impact at 13. I spoke about it, it could have been a month ago, that as a fullback, especially Drew touched upon that tactical kicking, you can really pinpoint one of the greatest threats that the Wallabies possess through a strong kicking game. Whereas if he's at 13, they don't have that same ability. I just think he can add more as a 13 and possibly, defensively.
Yeah, I was going to say on the other side of the ball.
Yeah, he can hit. Like he loves to compete and smack. So if you've got someone at 13 there that you don't know when he's going to come in or when he's not, I just think personally I would prefer him at 13.
Well, the bad news for the Waratahs is they've got the Chiefs who are running hot this week. So if they are going to try and tighten up that defence, it needs to happen pretty quick.
Yeah, well, I think as well, we know that because he's such a good player, he's going to have good games. Doesn't matter if he's at fullback or he's on the wing or it's 13 or whatever. We know that he's going to have good games. That doesn't mean necessarily, in my opinion, doesn't mean to say that that's where he's best suited. And especially moving forward to this Lions series, I think 13 is where he's best suited for that series.
Beautiful. Gits, have you got another takeaway? We've got Tommy Hooper joining us very shortly.
My takeaway would be that we're re-signing a couple of guys that have got huge interest to go elsewhere. I think that's a good sign that they believe in the program that's happening here. Potentially they've got an insight into the coach that's coming in. Who knows? But just to rattle off a few names, you got Lucan, Matt Phillip, Lockie Lonigan, Fraser, Harry Wilson. Harry didn't play the game at all. Silly, but still great that he stayed. Nick Frost, Fessler, and I'm sure there's
a
plenty
number of
more.
others. I mean, I think Matt Phillips is a big one.
Yeah,
like
that's
he
right,
went away
yeah.
and then came back. Like
Yeah.
you mentioned him there, but like coming back, he signed with the Waratahs, which I'm sure you're thrilled about.
Yeah, of course they get him. Yeah, they get them all.
But I mean, obviously, that's great news, and there's a lot on the horizon for rugby in Australia here. Obviously with the Lions and then World Cup in 2027. But I guess another big one on the flip side is Noah Lolesio signing in Japan to leave. What are your thoughts on that? Like,
Well, I don't know.
do you think
like
that'll affect his Lions selection?
I don't think so because he'd stay here. You're playing Super Rugby, and if it depends. Like Joe Schmidt himself will be leaving not long after the Lions as well. So I think he'll pick the best squad that he thinks will win that Lions series.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing's a World Cup. Like he missed out. We touched upon it. He missed out on last World Cup. Now going over to Japan, and you can never have a go at any player for
whatever their
signing
reasons
somewhere
are,
for whatever their reasons are. That's their reasons. So they're entitled to do it. So I mean, I wish him all the best, and it's obviously great cash. I'd love to know which team though.
Well, I mean, that's the other thing as well, right? Like 2013, that's why I wasn't involved in the Lions because I'd signed for Toulon. So like some of these players that are signed elsewhere, I think Lungy Gleeson, there's a number of players.
I think Lenny Katau.
Lenny Katau,
Exeter.
a number of these guys that are looking to go overseas. Like, will that affect them?
us.
Much like it did
Tom
for a
right
bunch
now.
of us in 2013. But then I was thinking that, but then you made a good point. Like Joe Schmidt himself is leaving, so he can't then hold someone else's decision for whatever their reasons are against them in terms of selection if he's also leaving himself.
I think
I don't
also,
know. It'll be an interesting watch. This
your
space.
coach at the time, I think he was supposed to stay a little longer, but then he got
the horse.
he got horsed after.
Which
the
coach was
Lions.
that?
Robbie Deans after the Lions.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think maybe it was more of a Rugby Australia thing at that point.
Yeah, right.
Now, we are going to go through the rest of these Superb Rugby scores. I'll just do them quickly and then we'll jump into Tom. So the Chiefs, they defeated the Reds 27-15.
Yep.
Crusaders, they got it done against the Drua 31-14.
That was impressive too, that one.
It was, yeah. Blues 19 over the Hurricanes 18. They just got home in the Force 29 over the Highlanders 20. We will come back and touch on all of that post Tom, but he is sitting there
He's
waiting.
just dialed in.
He's watching. He looks concerned.
He looks great.
He does look great. Look at that
fresh.
hair.
That's fresh lid, yeah.
How are you, Tom?
Not quite. Good, all good, all good. No new haircut, especially the missus has let me know about that. I really need to get rid of this mullet soon. But doing mullets for mental health, so I got it for one more month. And then probably going to have to grow up a little bit and tidy it up.
What are you going to go for after this week?
No, I've got to try and get a bit more of a mullet in there, a bit more defined for the mullets for mental health and make sure people actually know I'm doing it. I'm not just a long-haired Yahoo. And then from there, I think the missus just wants off with it. So really tidy it up, go proper private school boys and get it sorted for the back end of the year. Yeah, not quite yours. Probably want to keep a little bit more there.
Okay,
but,
yeah, fair enough.
Like this?
Yeah, don't hit where it made profit at. Do you have any say in that, or is the missus, she just tells you what to wear, how to cut your hair? Like, do you have any say?
No say, mate. Yeah, well and truly nuts in the bag with that one.
Wow, Carlo's the same.
Nah, okay.
What was the name?
I've pushed my luck a fair bit. So, it's probably time for me to grow up, especially I'm not wearing headgear this year as well. So, I need to start looking half decent on telly.
Yeah, well, you've done that.
Now, Tom, just as we go here and we are talking a bit of telly, there's an amazing bit of sunshine going across your face. I'm wondering whether, if you sit there, it's going to be much better. There you go. Look at that.
That's the Canberra sun. There is nothing better than when that Canberra sun hits
I've heard that.
Yeah.
I've heard that's why people are flocking to live there.
It's the only day of the year. We get it right today. How good.
Now, Tom, I don't know if you've seen our show. Tom Erskine in here writes an intro. It's normally pretty insulting if the guest is on Zoom, which you are. If they're in studio, it's very nice because Tom is within arm's reach. But this could be anything with you down there in Canberra. So apologies in advance. Here we go. This week on the KOKO Show, we are joined by a very brawny but not so brainy Bathurst Bulldog. Right, there you go.
Punchy.
This fella is a brutal back rower with country boy manners. 1 minute, he will be helping a nan across the street, and the next, he will be WWE suplexing some weak dog in the throes of battle. Up until this last weekend, this bloke was leading the way in the Super Rugby Player of the Year voting. Clearly, the panel has been very impressed with his actions on the field, as well as giving him some serious bonus points for his Marilyn Monroe-esque beauty spot that seems to get more beautiful every week. So please put your hands together for a man that is making these Brumbies buck in 2025 and a man that quite clearly is putting cash before his country with a quick exodus to Exeter. He is a central New South Wales sex symbol, and he clearly is the most desired meathead in everyone's superb rugby sandwich. Please welcome the one and only Bathurst bad boy and everyone's favourite faux farmer. It is, of course, Mr. Tom Hooper.
Hey.
That wasn't too bad.
Couple of swipes there.
Yeah, a couple little.
Having no brain wasn't nice.
That's right. They're backhand compliments, so just a couple of little cheap ones in there. Don't mind that.
Yeah, you can suplex him when you see him. I was just going to touch, actually, it was in the intro, but mate, your form this year has been absolutely outstanding. What can you put it down to? I mean, you had a good back end of the year last year. I mean, impressive year last year, but also on that tour. But it just seems like you've sort of grown a length in this Super Rugby season.
Yeah, I think it takes a while to kind of figure out what works for you. And I'm not saying I've 100% done that, but I definitely have just put aside a lot of, what I do off the field in terms of, reading too much into things and just kind of leave it to on game day, just making sure I'm doing my job for the team and not overthinking anything. As a young fella, you kind of come in and want to make your mark in different areas of the game, but I feel like as long as I do my job, and Jimmy Slipper is always saying that, if you just nail your job and do your job for the team, then that'll go a long way. So wise words from the vet have kind of gone a long way this year.
So you touched upon the farming friends that you've got there. There's a strong rumour travelling around Canberra. I hear it every day and I've had to deny it, that you're actually a bit of a plastic farmer and you've got a hobby farm, not a real farm. Is there any truth to that?
No, I get that a lot. And I think the person that actually started that rumor was Lukey Reimer, who's known me for the longest. And he's one of those blokes who's just an absolute serial pest. Like, I think if the exterminator was called into Brumbies HQ, he'd be the first to go. But yeah, he started that rumor pretty well as soon as we came into the program together 5 years ago. And yeah, I don't get much street cred on that aspect because he's really front-footed it on me. But to be honest, our farm isn't huge, and my dad is a plumber by trade. But it was more so when we were growing up, helping our grandparents and stuff who lived only 15 minutes up the road. So it was a good way to grow up with plenty of land and helping them do the cattle and stuff. But yeah, definitely, I think the Loningans get a lot more street cred from that aspect because they're still out on the farm and driving to town every day.
Yeah,
nice.
mate, I defend it because I've been to a couple of events and I've seen the dirt on your RMs. So I know, like, mine are clean, yours are dirty. You got nothing more to prove. But it actually wasn't. I didn't hear that from who you thought I'd hear it from. So I can't give up my sources. You know, in the media, Prof.
Of course,
we're not allowed
mate.
to tell.
No.
Would you go into farming once you finish up, mate? Once you come back, you know what? It's actually masterstroke from you going to Exeter to get the pound. Like, the Australian dollar absolutely bottomed out today.
Oh yeah, you're getting double.
Fell through the arse. So your contract's all of a sudden going up. Well done on that. But once you come back, would you ever go, get into farming after footy?
Yeah, I definitely would like to have a bit of land. Probably same as my old man. Like, wouldn't want to be a farmer out and out because I know how tough that was on my granddad and stuff. And it is a tough profession, but it's probably something I want to have up my back pocket and make sure, whatever I land in, I've kind of got a bit of land to play with and a few cattle that I can ship off the market for a bit of extra coin. And then that way you can sell a cow for a motorbike for one of your kids and go from there.
Now, before you jumped on, I don't know if you heard the boys were talking about the Lions tour and whether the guys like yourself that are heading overseas at the end of this Super Rugby season, whether you are still eligible to play for the Lions?
You'd be eligible, whether it would affect your chances. Like, were you going to ask if he's had a chat with Joe Schmidt?
Yeah, no, I had a good yarn with Joe at the start of the year when he left me out of that January squad, which was a really nice conversation. He kind of just said, with the place we're in at the moment with eligibility rules, etc., we can't include you in this squad. And if it's 50-50 between you and a bloke who's chosen to stay in Australia, we're going to have to go with him. And I kind of just tipped my hat to him and said, look, I respect that. Like, they've done the right thing. They're trying to grow the game in Australia. I'm trying to grow my game elsewhere and then hopefully come back to Australia. But, they're sticking by and doing the hard yards here. So I respect that. And then I said, but mate, if I'm, out and out the best player in my position, do I get a crack? And he kind of said, yep, like, if you, force their hand and give us no choice but to pick you, then that hopefully is the way we'll go. So it was a really nice conversation, and he's always been upfront with me, even when he wasn't picking me last year. Like, he's always given good, honest feedback, and I really respect that about him as a bloke. And to front foot it like that when he did, I know it was obviously a bit more controversial with Langy getting dropped out of that squad, but Joe front footed it with me straight away, and I knew my reasons why I wasn't included. I'm sure Langy knew his reasons, and however he chooses to deal with a few other boys who are jumping ship this year, I'm sure that he'll be clear and communicate the same way that he communicated with me, which was really good.
Yeah, and that's all you ask for, right? If you got that clarity, like he said to him in Tom's words, if it's 50-50, I'm going to back a guy who's staying here. But, and credit to you, mate, like you've really sort of blown that up, really. Like, it's not going to be a 50-50. Like, the form that you're in, it's going to be very hard to argue that you shouldn't be in that squad. Like, if you are able to maintain this for the rest of this Super Rugby season, then it's, like, you've done exactly what he's basically challenged you to do, is to make it so it's not a 50-50 and that, you've forced his hand. But, I don't know, I guess I'm interested to hear, Noah Lolesio, he's just announced as well that he's going to be departing. Like, has there been a little bit of chat around the squad, around his decision?
Noah's is a really good friend of mine, and we're actually due to catch up for a coffee to kind of talk more in depth around his decision. But I know we all have our different reasons for going. Mine's certainly like growing my game, and also like you made a few
growing the pockets.
Haven't gone unnoticed, but it's looking after our families as well, short term and obviously long term as well, in such a short career that we have. But yeah, I definitely want to grow my game, and I'm sure from other guys who are leaving, all they want to do is just have different life experiences and try something new. Like for Noah, I think he's been at the Brumbies 7 or 8 years now. So he's a young guy, but he's had plenty of Super Rugby under his belt, and everyone's got their reasons. So yeah, for me, it's about going over and coming back a better footy player, and also just making sure I'm experiencing something new. Don't want to kind of stay static for too long, keep moving. And as Laurie Fisher says, we're in the business of getting better. So I'm just trying to do that every day.
Yeah, and you're doing that. What is it that excites you most? Obviously, we've touched on the finance, but that's just a joke. Obviously, with the from a rugby point of view or even lifestyle, what are you looking forward to? What is it that excites you most about going over to Exeter and playing in those competitions?
Oh, I think just more footy. Like at the end of the day, we're just young blokes throwing around the pigskin and really hoping just to play more and more footy. And, if you're lucky enough to be included in the Wallabies, you get, 30 odd games a year. But last year I only played 2 games off the bench for the Wallabies, and I'm guaranteed 30 games a year from kind of starting from August this year or whenever I head over. So whenever I go over, I know I'm just going to be working hard at my craft and playing plenty of footy against really quality oppositions. And then from a positional perspective of being a second row, a back row, that Slips always says, get back in tighted lock. So I'm just going over there to try and to develop my game, and especially the set piece, which we know is so strong over there. And then hopefully come back and be an extra weapon for the Wallabies in that 27 World Cup. That's the goal.
Now, you blokes played a lot of time in Europe. Very successful. Did you ever come up against Exeter?
We did.
Is it a good club over there?
Yep. We they were a good club. I mean, we beat them, but they I remember how cold it was when we went over there.
Yeah.
And the night before, we were all in onesies, like me, you, Freddie Michalak, maybe Marceau. You had a couple of us. That's what I remember most about Exeter. We got in onesies the night before.
Just in the hotel room?
Yeah,
or
the
went out?
hotel room. Just, I think it's just for a group photo or something.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you just do stupid things on tour, but I mean, it's a really well-supported team. Like they've got a really strong fan base. They've had a lot of success, post us. But also a lot of Aussies have gone over there and done well. Nick White was there for a long time. Dave Dennis.
Yeah, Deno loves it.
Deno is, similar to Tom. He's a, back rower come second rower, switching in between those two positions. But they're also guys that did really well there, but were really embraced by Exeter because they really embraced Exeter as well, like the lifestyle, the club, the fan base, everything that it brought. And I think that's I guess one thing I would sort of say to you, Tom, is like when you go over to play in Europe, you've got a couple of weeks to really like win them over. Especially in France, but even in the UK in the Premiership, honestly, like because they kind of see these foreign players coming in, getting some good cash, which you do, but they want to see you wanting to aim up and bleed for the team and have a go, and you're not there just to collect an invoice. So that's like one thing. And I know that you would go in there with that intention, but also just in the back of your mind. Daryl Gibson said that to me when I was going over to France about that sort of thing as well, is it's like, really get there and hit the ground running, because, if you have a couple off games or something, that it's a long road to kind of then try and win them back over. So, I mean, that's just sort of something to keep in the back of your mind. But have you spoken to Whitey? I know that you would have played with Whitey down at the Brumbies before he shot over to the Force, or anyone that has sort of had that experience at Exeter.
Yeah, definitely. Spoke to Whitey a fair bit. He used to just tell war stories of Exeter, and it was always kind of a place that in the back of my mind I went, geez, it'd be pretty cool to land there eventually, because some of the stories he said a very similar family orientated club like Brumbies, but they know how to party.
Jack now. He's gone now.
They know what the right stuff is that makes a team win. So I'm really excited to get over there. And then before I made my decision, I called up Big Scotty CEO.
Oh, he was there, of course. Yeah.
Wolf.
He's still there, isn't he?
Yeah, he's still there.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's still there. And so I gave him a ring on the blower, and he had some really good words and basically echoed what you were saying, Drew. And he kind of said a lot of guys come over here at the back end of their career and they're there to cash in. But you look at a guy like him playing some of the best footy of his life. He's gone over there, embraced the culture, and really just gone there with the purpose of being the best he can every day. And he said that to me. He said, I know you're young. I know you want to play World Cups. I know you want to do this, you want to do that. But in the time that you are here, and you just got to pour everything you have into this club. And so hopefully that's the plan. And that's exactly what I'll do for the next 2 years. And then if I'm enjoying it, who's to say I won't say I'll take kind of one obstacle at a time. But for the next 2 years, that's the plan. And he gave those very similar words of advice to you, Drew. Right. He kind of just said, rip tear bust for a couple of years and make sure you pour everything in.
Yeah. Did you call him the big dog because he barks before you run out? Is that why you call him the big dog?
No, it's just
because he's a big dog, older player. Well, when we came back from France, before the Wallabies, so you'd have your little talk, your squeak would say what he's saying, good luck, let's go. And then you just start hear this, woof, 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 woof. I looked at Drew, I was like,
oh, mate, so
what the fuck was that?
Yeah, this was the England game in the World Cup 2015. I warmed up but wasn't playing, so I then had to do the team huddle and whatever, and then there was a bunch of us guys that weren't playing that we'd shower up and get in our suits. And because there's also Ben McCalman, right? So he was the big dog of the dogs in our team, right? So and Benny was playing, he was stripped up, and then we're in this huddle and we do our 3-2-1, whatever it was. And like Giddy said, he's just we just hear this woo barking, and we're like, and I thought it was one of the non-suited up guys because we're in a bit of a different mindset. So I was ready to fucking rip the ass out of someone for not being sort of switched on when the other boys are. And the boys go, no, that's Scotty Seo. He's like
he barks to get
himself
up.
The big dog's got to eat or something. They were saying afterwards.
And
I said, mate, a little heads up would be nice.
And then
so we shits for the first 10 minutes of the game.
We'd go over to Ben McCallum and go, mate, you just got out-dogged. Like, you're no longer the dog, you're a little puppy. And he's like, fuck off, mate. And well, next game you're gonna have to out-bark him then. Like in the huddle next game.
Yeah, it became a kennel.
Did it?
Like a pound.
They got into a dog fight before.
It's like we're in Hong Kong.
Wow. Big Dog really loved that, and he really embraced that, especially in my time at Brums. And on his way out to Exeter, he actually held Big Dog tryouts. Yeah, so he got 5 of the youngest boys to kind of get up and see who could replace him as Big Dog, and just gave him scenarios. How are you acting? Are you going to act like me? Have you got that air of quiet arrogance about you?
Yeah, not quiet,
at all.
About 5 of them hopped up and sat back down. He hops up at the end and he just goes, "Yeah, sorry boys, none of you can fucking replace me."
So there's no Big Dog at the Brums now. Is there a vacancy?
I mean, you've got the obvious big dogs like the Allens and the Slips.
Yeah, but no one's barking is what we're asking.
But, there's no one barking and just got that very witty, slight cockiness about them that everyone loves. But now, he's the hard one to replace. There's only one big dog.
You're going to Exeter. Obviously, you're gonna have that first team huddle. Is there an animal that you could do right off the bat?
Well, I wonder if he's actually had the confidence to just come straight in
and bark.
As being an Aussie, Scotty coming over there, maybe he doesn't bark in England.
Oh, that'd be a shame. Well, you could go in and you could do like a rooster or I don't know what else you could do, like a
sheep.
A sheep.
That'd
You're
get
a farmer.
me going.
Don't. No, I'll see. I'll brainstorm. I'll get in the tool. Yeah, I'll get downstairs and figure it out.
Because there was,
I think I'm bonkers.
Because Drew was telling me, and we were talking about this in Canberra, about how you guys used to neigh like horses before you'd run out before a Brumbies game.
Yeah, you guys used to do it.
Remember?
Or maybe you were just doing you watch me whip.
Yeah. Very good. Brumbies. So, do you think you're the best Aussie side at the moment? Because they're all cooking, all four. Well, yeah, all 4 of you.
And also, which team do you hate the most? Australian team.
Yeah, all 4 in the top 6, which is exciting for Australian rugby in general. And it's been a topsy turvy kind of Super Rugby at the moment. Yeah. But I personally have just this thing about the Reds. Well, I've just had them crossed down. I guess my first year down here, they won the Aussie won the Aussie championship off us, and then kind of just mellowed out a bit there. And now you look at all their signings. I looked at the signings from the Waratahs and I went, oh yeah, they've got a stacked back line. And I looked at the signings from the Reds and I went, bloody hell, look at that forward pack. And I was just licking my lips. I was just like, this is really exciting. And I respect every single one of them, and I know they're bloody good footballers, but I just can't wait for this weekend to kind of rip into them and have a go.
Well, I love that.
I understand you respect them, and you think they're great footy players, but who's the one that you just want to fuck up?
You've got to go for Harry, don't you? He's the head of the snake.
Yeah, I had to get rid of the red headgear because too many were calling me and Harry too similar. So
and the gold jersey, of course.
I think he's amazing, and I think if I can rip into him, that'll go a long way to me doing my job to kind of nullifying their forward pack because he's a bloody good footballer. But to be honest, like when the approach I've kind of taken this year is that you respect a lot of players. You respect the Queensland Reds. They've got a great forward pack. The Blues had a good forward pack that we versed. The Chiefs certainly had a good forward pack, and I didn't get to have a crack at them. But you kind of just putting your head down, your bum up, and carrying hard no matter what's in front of you. You just look at the red jersey and you bullet a red rag and go from there. So I think that Harry's an amazing player, and if you can nullify him, you go a long way to winning the game. But I kind of just want to take on the forward pack as a whole, and I'm not the only one.
Something's happening down my pants, and I can't control it. Like, this is outstanding.
But, I mean, do you remember when the Waratahs played the Reds and Kellaway shot out and whacked Harry Wilson?
Yeah, that's
and he had words. He didn't like it. No one likes getting whacked.
No.
But how good's that? The competitive spirit, and even
Yeah, I
just
love
saying what you think.
Got to be careful with Harry now, though, because he's got that little grubber that we saw on the weekend.
That's a good
little
skill.
left foot grubber. Very good.
Beautiful skill, yeah. But if you whack him, then he can't chase his own kick. Can he? So.
I love it. Can I just ask
even if
one
it's
thing?
late?
Even if we're, I don't know if we're wrapping it up or what we're doing. Did you know that the suplex was illegal? Because I didn't. I didn't know when you got your yellow. I was like, what was that for?
Yeah, well, I thought I'd gone away with it. Like, I played the bloke I did it to, Dan Botha. I played with him since we were 16, like juniors. Like we were mates all through juniors, etc. Not to say we're not mates now.
No.
Don't play for the same team. And when I did it, I thought, geez, that was pretty good. Like, got him out of the way, and then sorted him out, obviously on the ground. And then he was squealing like a stuck pig on the ground. And I went, geez, I could be in strife here. And then I got away with it. I was standing in the line out. I was like, you beauty, that's obviously legal. And then when old mate put his hand up and gave the double whistle, I went up to Alan. I was like, mate, I'm probably going here. Yeah. And Alan's going, what'd you do? Did you punch someone? I was like, I don't know, because I'm not a WWE fan. I hadn't heard of suplex until I'd actually done it. I'd just done it to
so basically you just thought you were inventing something.
Well, no, I'd done it a couple of times to one of my best mates. He's a fiery ranger, and he always tries to wrestle me on the piss, and I do it to him a fair bit. So I knew I could pull it off, but I didn't know it was called a suplex. Anyway, long story short, I just went to Alan. I said, I'm a bit of strife here. And he goes, did you punch someone or do something stupid? And I was like, I did something stupid, but I don't know how to describe it. And he just looks up at the screen and goes, oh, mate. And then sure enough, I got my marching orders, and from that point on,
I wonder why he squealed. Did he squeal? Did he squeal for the penalty? Because he landed perfectly on his feet. It couldn't have hurt him unless he's got sensitive heels.
Unless it was squeals of joy.
I've done it.
Maybe he was.
Anytime I've kind of done it to my brother or my best mate, it's never hurt them. So I'm sure he would have been okay. But to be fair, it's like past the horizontal. So probably deserved my marching orders. That's the thing that I went. It was safe, but it was definitely past the horizontal. And if I had have let him go, then you got to worry about danger. So you don't want to be teaching the kids that move at all. And I'm actually coaching a rugby team this year down in Canberra, and I kind of said, sorry guys, I'll be putting that one in the back pocket and not teaching you that move, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, if you're going to get a yellow card, it may as well be for something that goes viral. You get a bit of a name about yourself.
Absolutely.
A very athletic maneuver. Like, you don't want to just get a yellow for being second infringement or pulling down a maul or something. So I allow it.
The other thing is there is a bit of a movement from ex-rugby league athletes heading into the WWE. There's a couple of blokes that have done it. Tom, once you've cashed in at Exeter, head straight to the States, mate.
Yeah, I might have a crack. Just cash in the States as well.
You've got a bit of Ultimate Warrior about it. I could see that. A bit of paint.
Bit of Undertaker, if we put a bit of mascara under the eyes there, I think.
Bit of Mankind with a mask on.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Gents, we've only got a couple more minutes here with Tom. We're on a tight schedule. So I've got here, I just wanted to ask you, obviously the whole country's going to go nuts for this Lions tour, and we are kind of asking all the players that we get on, how do you think the Wallabies, hopefully you in it, how do you think you'll fare against the Lions?
I think really well. you know, you look at how well the boys did on the spring tour, and the way they came together as a team was really exciting. You know, you look at passages throughout that spring tour and how well the attack was firing, and then it was the most pleasing part for me was I was watching that Island game at home, and like what Gits just set up before, my downstairs was getting a bit excited because everyone kind of finally listened to Laurie Fisher and what he's been harping on about for, you know, the last year, and everyone listened to Laurie and was just whacking. And it's the best our defense has looked in years. I reckon it was bloody awesome. And if we can have that defense for a 3-game series, we all know defense wins games. And then from there, we just got to pick the right players that have a bit of razzle dazzle to score points. So yeah, I'm really excited by it. That game in particular got me really excited for what was to come. And I think it's a really good coaching staff at the moment, and the makeup of it. The recipes are there, and we know we've got the athletes. So from there, just hopefully it's picking the right guys and getting the job done.
Well, mate, like if you are picked, you know, in the form that you're in, suggests that you probably should be. We've been asking also the players that come on, if there's one player from the Lions that you'd like to whack, who is it? And some have chosen the opportunity to name someone. Carlo Tizzano named Curry. Some have chosen not to. But what about you, mate? If there's one player in the Lions that comes down here for the series, who is it that you want to whack?
Carlo's an absolute nut. That's why he's probably the number 7. Bit of position hate there.
Yeah.
But no, it's a bit like the Reds. You know, you look at the Northern Hemisphere and you go, geez, this forward back's pretty handy. So if I was to get picked, I'd just want to absolutely go after him. I'd want to be in the middle doing the tough shit and just putting my head down and get into work. So yeah, there's no one really that I'd know, but that I'd like to name. But yeah, I just like to put a few shots on and just hit a few rucks.
Mate, you've convinced me.
Oh, mate,
I'm almost
excited.
ready to make a tackle.
Oh, no.
Like, and that's weird.
Yeah,
for me.
you didn't even make it when we were playing.
Exactly, but
First one.
he's got me fired up.
I
I'm
know,
like,
I just
shit.
can't work out.
It's like a whole part of the game that I didn't even get involved in that I probably should have. Like I missed
No,
out.
you're
You
right,
played
mate.
60% of rugby.
Yeah, mate.
Hey, stay out on the wing, mate. You're right. You don't want to get involved in that.
Yeah, thanks.
Shot is like a brown snake.
So good to have you here, Tom, for a few reasons. One is, in my many years of broadcasting, 25 years, I've never heard an athlete describe something as I was getting excited downstairs. That's the first time a current player. I mean, you say it all the time.
Yeah, well,
it's kind of your go-to.
It's very rare that it happens. That's why I've got to let you know. Well, fellas.
Go well this weekend against the Reds.
Yeah,
We will be
absolutely.
watching for whoever you whack. That'll be exciting. Good luck for the rest of the year with the Wallaby selection, and good luck in Exeter.
Absolutely.
Have I missed anything there, boys?
No,
No,
thanks
mate,
for coming on.
Yeah,
Legend.
thanks very much. And just keep going, mate. You're in absolute sensational form.
Cheers, fellas. Appreciate it.
There you go. Another great character in Aussie rugby. Why haven't we heard from these blokes?
No, he's good, Tom Hooper.
Outstanding.
Yeah, he's good on the field. He's good off the field. Look, he's going to be missed when he goes over there. But like he said there in that chat, it's like he's really wanting to get better as a player and come back for the 27 World Cup. And you know, it's hard to argue. A lot of players that have gone away and come back have come back as better players. So
Even the more game time that he was touching on. You don't even think about that.
yeah,
But that experience, he just wants to play more, and he's just not guaranteed that opportunity here in Australia because your super season's so short, and then if you're not in the Wallabies, you're just holding. You only got 2 games off the bench, so
yeah,
Maybe that's Noah's theory as well.
potentially.
Japanese rugby.
yeah. But he played every game.
Japanese rugby, you don't play as much as Europe.
you don't.
and-
I knew that. Right, so he touched on Carlo there, Tizzano. I got to say, he is my favourite player in the Super Rugby.
Yeah, he's good.
Oh, he's outstanding. Jagged another try.
Yeah.
Got the pilfer right at the end
Yeah.
to save the bonus point. They
His
defeated.
family got interviewed
Yeah,
too
yeah,
after
that
the
was
game.
nice.
yeah, that was a nice little touch.
His nonno.
Yeah.
So they forced 29 defeated the Highlanders.
I think Morgan Turinui, he was like, hang on, who are these?
Where's everyone
and
coming
then,
from?
And then realised that they were his family. He's like, okay, come
He
in
thought
now.
they were pitch invaders.
Well, I think a little bit, yeah.
They were down 20-7 in the 27th minute. Then they came back 29-20. As I said, Carlo firing. Dono.
Yeah, Dono's
He's
good.
got a turn of pace, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's quick.
Down that
'cause
left edge.
He's got a bit of history at fullback as well.
yeah.
So he can carry well.
Yeah, I think as well, like when you look at some of these decisions as well, like, you know, Noah going away, but you've got Dono, you've got Tane Edmeds actually being spoken about
Yeah.
potentially going to the Brumbies. Like this, you know, and Lino, you've got McLaughlin Phillips. There's 10s coming through. I don't know, maybe that's factored into people's decisions as well.
Surely you could just pick up the phone and say, hey, Noah, what's going on? Gits.
Yeah, you can, but when he signs to go to Japan and it's for money, I think I know what's
Gotcha.
going on. You can't argue with it. Like,
Gits knows what's going on in those situations.
Yeah, I know.
That's
We touched on McLaughlin Phillips
Yep.
and Liner there. McLaughlin Phillips got the start.
Yep.
The Reds obviously went down to the Chiefs, but they played well.
They did play well. I think it's just they're a confidence team. So if things don't start well, obviously with a young group, it seems like it's hard for them to find their rhythm. Whereas a couple of the other games where they've been more dominant, they've started well, and then they just feed off that confidence. I think McLaughlin Phillips, like, had he scored that try, it might have been a totally different ball game. That try saver, what was it, only a millimetre in it. But there's been so many of those try savers nowadays. Even like Tom Wright's one that he did, was that against the Chiefs as well, I think, where he held up Damien McKenzie, it was.
Yeah.
So it's obviously a tactic that people are doing. You know,
Well,
at the
I mean,
moment.
I think it's not just in the 15s game and just the men's game as well. I think we saw. I'm going to just quickly. I know you got some.
No, do
run
it because
sheet, but
that's the most epic thing I've
yeah,
ever seen.
I just watching last night, Maddi Levi in the Singapore Sevens in the final up against New Zealand. Look, New Zealand were fantastic and deserved winners, but this play from Maddi Levi, the opposition player is already over the line. Not only does she hold her up, but she strips the ball and then runs 20, gets a little knee in the back. But then, that's incredible skill and presence of mind, spatial awareness to know, she's on top, she's on her back at that point.
Yeah.
The ball's just there. She then grabs it. Steals
Even from
the
the
ball.
New Zealand point of view, what would you be thinking? You're like, I've held the ball on the other side, got my fend up. How did I not get this down?
There's actually a great angle from the other side, which is the low side, where you see, I don't know whether Maddie realised she had the ball, but it suddenly,
all of a sudden,
realised that she's got it. She's
in a wing.
takes off.
But you know what? The play just before it, someone who does a lot of work off the ball and she does a lot of try-saving tackles is Faith Nathan. And I was watching it and I was just watching her work off the ball. And then she just runs down one of the New Zealand players. We'll put the footage in here for those who are watching. But it's another one, the defensive lines under pressure, running back and just grasses the opposition player from behind.
There's a lot of that in Hong Kong as well.
Yeah, like
the
a metre
areas.
short.
Yeah.
They then go to the other edge and then Maddi Levi comes up with that. It's work rate. It's just that sort of, never give up type of attitude, but also the skill to be able to execute these things. It's really impressive. And, a lot has been said and should be said because Maddi Levi, the quickest to get 200 tries on the World Seven Series.
Amazing.
Series. I mean, incredible for her to be able to do that in 4 years. And she's, 200 not out for this season as well.
Yeah.
So those numbers will just keep going up. But a lot said about their try scoring, but a lot of their success is built on the work rate and the effort areas and their defence.
I think Maddi Levi will become an athlete where people that don't necessarily love rugby will still go to watch her. You know, how someone like Jordan became like that, or currently, and then Tom Brady or whatever. I think people,
There's some big names there.
I'm telling you,
I agree, but
she is to sit and watch her play is unbelievable.
Yeah.
There you go. The Aussies at Singapore. I do have the results here. The Aussie men, they went down. They came ninth. They went down to
10th. They lost the 9th, 10th.
They came 10th, which means the team they lost to came 9th. Nailed it. It was Kenya, who we saw how well they did in Dubai.
Yeah.
They ended up in the final against Fiji. That is
Fiji too strong in the final. But watched that one again last night as well. And look, two really well supported nations.
Yeah.
The crowd were going crazy. The footy was great, but Fiji just too much class in the end for Kenya. But the men's series.
Even
Spain's
last week.
right up there.
Last week in Hong Kong, the final was Argentina, France.
Yeah.
Spain second, but then this week it's now Fiji,
Yeah,
Kenya.
Aussie
it's
was
in
third last week. Now they're 10th.
It's in a super.
It's a
good
really competitive
space.
series. Yeah.
And the women,
The women
second-
lost
lost
the
the
final
final.
to New Zealand.
again.
Yeah. Back-to-back finals. New Zealand wrapped up the series earlier in the tournament. They wrapped up the series with, I think, their second pool game.
Yeah.
So they won the series, but then also went on to win Singapore, and Argentina wrapped it up for the men's. They've won the series for the men's.
Congratulations to those two sides. I am very wary of the time here. We are trying to keep it a bit tighter these days.
Yeah.
So we are jumping around a bit here. You're messing with my run sheet, Drew.
Yeah,
and
sorry,
you know I'm very particular
but it was
about
just
that.
like, it was good segues, and I had to
I love
roll
a
them.
segue.
Yeah.
Well,
Super.
the back of that segue, the
Have you
Super
got another
W.
segue?
No, the Super W, because the girls are competing really well in the sevens.
Yeah.
But they are getting depleted a little bit when they're pulling girls in and out to play for the 15s. And on the weekend, the semi-finals happened for the Super W.
Yeah.
Queensland, the girls got it done.
Yes, against the
Against
Drua.
the Drua. Was it
54-40, they got it done.
Which at halftime, it was like 40-something to 5
Yeah.
again for Queensland.
And Fijiana, they really fought back. But look, a lot has been said about the sevens girls going to 15s, but I think a lot of the 15s girls that have been there, for a number of years, they're really stepping up as well. I really enjoy watching Eva Kapani for the Reds. In the front row, but really athletic. 5 tries in 2 games for Eva
Hat-trick last
Kapani.
week.
Yeah. So set piece, that's her bread and butter. But she's just great in space and ball in hand, and she's an athlete as well.
Waratahs, they defeated the Force 54-12. They're at Leichhardt Oval. So your final is going to be...
Well, it's this weekend.
Yeah.
North Sydney Oval, 2:35 p.m. kickoff. The Queensland Reds versus the Waratahs.
Maybe this is what Swoop's prediction was. Remember at the start of the year? His
He
big
did
bomb
say-
was going to be a State of Origin final.
Mm.
He was talking about the Super W.
Yeah.
He just keeps surprising us. How smart is he?
Not smart enough to set his calendar right, so he's here on a Monday.
No.
No, he's
At least he told us like an hour before. Or
Yeah,
something.
that was good of him. So we knew exactly where he was. I'm all over the place here, mate.
No, but you're good.
Give us a quick what's drawing before we go.
Here's a what's drawing.
What's drewing?
My what's drawing is the Champions Cup, the European Champions Cup. There was the round of 16 over the weekend, so it's the new format.
Mm-hmm.
So it used to be pools into quarters, semis, and final. Now there's a round of 16, so that there's more teams included. Firstly, I think once you sort of start messing with the tradition of things, it doesn't or the growth doesn't always mean it's a positive. I don't know. I think they should go back to the old format.
Yep.
But the other thing what I didn't like is a number of teams are prioritising their domestic comp over the European Champions Cup and sending depleted teams in a knockout stage of a Champions Cup. Yeah. And I don't know, I just think, like, for example, the Saracens didn't play any of their England players, and the Saracens have a proud history in that competition. And to send a team with no England internationals to Toulon, it's a hard place to play. I just thought it was just a bit disrespectful to the competition, but also to the other teams because, and hear me out on this, because part of being in that competition means you get a slice of the broadcast deal, right? And if you're sending depleted teams, the product's not going to be as good. Look, Saracens were good in the first half, actually really strong in the first half, but end up getting smacked 72-42. There was a 62-0 scoreline, there's big blowouts over the weekend. If this continues to happen, the interest in the competition is not going to be there. Therefore, the money's not going to be there for future broadcast deals, which then it affects every other team in the competition, not just the ones that are making a selfish decision for the short term because they're resting players for their domestic leagues. I just think if you commit to a competition, then you play it out the best you can. I would really be interested to hear from the former Saracens players, guys that we played against, that have that pride themselves on playing in those competitions, to then see their former team sending depleted teams into an elimination round of the European Champions Cup.
But then also what happens, so I agree with the broadcasting, and it takes away from the actual achievement of winning it as well.
Yeah.
So say, or maybe it doesn't. Maybe once they hit the finals, they pick their strong team. But then what about the people that helped you get there, that played in those final games to get you there? So there's so many different arguments to have.
Yeah.
I think you've got to pick your strongest team once you're in the finals.
Yeah, any
For home
elimination
and away
round, like
games
maybe,
and round, you can do what you want. I agree with you. I think for me that was the pinnacle when we went over there. Once you live in France, you understand how important top 14 is for the locals, and to win it, to show that for France that means more. At Toulon, the top 14 meant more to the city, but when we still won Champions Cup, for an international guy, for me it went madness in Toulon, but for me that meant more going over there.
So I'm going to use football as an example. So the European Champions League is obviously the pinnacle of what a club can win. Is that not the case in rugby anymore?
Well, I think it depends. I think it changes between clubs and competitions and nationalities in terms of where they put it on, in terms of the priorities. But at the same time, if you're involved in a competition and you're happy to take slices and you're happy to kind of, the prestige of the competition and all of that sort of stuff, you've then got to you've got a right and a responsibility to put your best team out there. And I understand that the English Rugby Union would have been saying you can't play, but the reason they had to rest them this weekend gone in the Champions Cup is because they played them the last 2 weekends in the Premiership. So they could have done it over the last 2 weekends, which is just regular season games. They prioritise that. Like, I know, I just like, to me that wasn't a good look. I don't think it's a good look for the game, for the championship itself. Nor do I think it's a good look for the clubs that did it.
What's drawing? Very good. Yes, let's do this, Tommy. Bring it in. Let's lock in our lines. We are only going to do 3 this week. Swoop emailed his through. It was Sevi Ballesteros. So
we'll use that next week.
Yeah, good work, Swoop. Have you got one, gents? I've got one.
You go for it.
I was going to do, just in case you're going to take mine, I was going to do Ollie Chesham.
Oh, yeah, good one. Yep.
We're a bit light on in the back row, so I thought, unless we wanted to get Mac Hansen back there or...
We'll keep him as nice position there. As Drew's writing that down, I'm going to go with James Ryan.
Very good.
He partnered Tars Burn in the second row. Industrious, doesn't get the plaudits he probably deserves, but he's someone that just gets in the engine room, like Tom Hooper, just in there doing the hard stuff.
Yeah, well, speaking of engine room, I'm going to go with one of the big boppers up front for England, Will Stewart.
Ooh.
Some put him in the team of the Six Nations.
Yep.
Very strong up front. And, he's definitely going to be there. So my locked-in line's absolutely going to be there.
We've actually done very well here. That leaves 4 spots for next week, so the 4 of us can throw them in. So that was good that Swoop wasn't here.
We're clever.
We are. And as you said, Drew, we will go through it then, and you can make changes if you like.
We go to the selection table and have it out.
And then I guess we have to call the athletes.
Yeah.
So is that international roaming calls? Because I don't...
Oh, I think we just WhatsApp text them.
I was going to say we could actually do this and send them from our KOKO account, send them a DM and see what their reaction is.
You've made our locked-in lines.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean anything, but you've made it.
You've made it. Well done.
Yeah.
Some of them will come back, I reckon.
Yeah, well, it could be fun.
Finn Russell will be it.
Oh, Finn will be in.
Yeah.
And Mac.
Right, I'm going to end it there, gents. I'm going to be honest with you. I think that show was all over the place.
It was all over the place. Sorry for those who watched and who listened.
If I could just throw it off one more time. Just why I'm wearing the Toulon shirt. Yeah.
Sorry.
So we didn't touch upon Ma'anonu becoming the oldest player to ever play top 14. Played 20-odd minutes against Cast. Unfortunately, they lost by a point. Apparently, the refs are still as good as they were when we played there. But yeah, I just thought I'd wear this one for Scuck, so little shout out to him.
Did he play well, Scucks?
He got a try assist.
Yeah, he did well. Yeah, try assist.
Strong
he
carries.
comes on. Spoke to him. He was just saying, obviously, the difference is just the physicality from playing in the US to then going back to the
yeah, he'll see more minutes as the season closes.
Yeah.
You're younger than him, right?
Yeah, 2 months younger. That's why I can't believe Pierre didn't ring me.
Mate, Pierre did ring you a number of times.
Yeah, I didn't answer.
Very, very good.
But he actually didn't, because there's idiots that'll take that serious.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, he didn't ring you.
No.
He texted him. Okay. All right. Good one. Right, where you can find us, X, Insta, TikTok, MySpace, wherever you want to find us, at Kickoffs and Kick-Ons. I say this every week.
You know what I always think? Like, why do we do that? Because
I don't know.
If they're watching it, they've already found us. Like,
no,
I thought you were about to derail it again.
Mate,
that would have been
just
great.
Trying to end this. Yeah. And go to our website, www.
Kickoffs.
Thank you. Very good. Bunch of stuff coming up. We're going to have live shows. There'll be merch. We're going to have Lions Fever. You'll be able to catch us in all your capital cities. You can meet your favourite Drew Mitchell or Matt Giddo. You love chatting to people. Gits, come up to him, say g'day.
Yeah.
Swoop
Hopefully
might be
not
there.
the next couple of weeks when I'm finally getting the wheels done.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, right, yeah.
Not next Monday, but the Monday after that I'll be wounded.
Now, I was thinking maybe a before and after shot. Do you want to just, this camera?
Yeah.
Of what my balls?
Yeah, if you don't mind. Just same thing.
No, that's fine. Don't worry.
Yeah, great. Yeah, we'll finish with that. And then we can have a look in 2 weeks' time and see.
Yeah, sounds good. I'll send it in.
Very good. All that's left to do. Cuckoo!
Oh, it's back.
That was good.
That was good. Oh, wow. That is the best video on YouTube you know what you need to do now? You need to like and subscribe down there. Or if you want extra content, might be down there, you need to go up here or up here and get more of that gear. Thanks for supporting Kickoffs and Kick-Ons, and we will see you very soon.